Hey there viewers, welcome back to the South Main Auto channel. If you're new here, welcome to our channel. Got a little deja vu today. Seems like our last video we did was on an AC condenser also on that Chrysler Pacifica. But we've got this '08 Pontiac Torrent here now, which also needs an AC condenser. Not sure what's wrong with this one. The customer stopped in the other day, wanted to know if I could replace it. I told him sure. He said he diagnosed it himself and that's where it was leaking. Wanted to know if I'd put the part on, so we're going to put the part on. Said he tried to put a couple cans of the refrigerant in it. It was spraying out the front, hitting him in the knee, so I assume it's empty here. Yeah, it's totally empty. Must be a pretty big hole. This car is just like that Chrysler. I think we got to pull the whole front end off of here, the front fascia, and this stuff's looking pretty crusty. Even cars rot out under the hood around here. So we'll see if we can't get these out without too much damage. Pull the front end off it. See what we got. Well, that wasn't too bad. What was it? A couple. Oh, that's tricky. You got a couple more way down in. Didn't have enough horsepower for them babies. A couple, one of those, one over here too. I suppose before I get too hog wild with that thing, I ought to make sure I got to take that off. I'm not so sure if I do or not. So we'll just leave it where it's at for right now. I know these got to come out, so we'll get these little push retainers out of here. And that looks this up quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know. That little guy's got to come off there or not. Might have been getting too excited. Okay, so this is the subframe oil pan filters, kind of orient you. And it's got these plastic clips under here too, so we'll get these popped out of there. I don't think there's much holding this on. I don't think we had to take the screws out of that plastic piece up top. I didn't realize what it was until I started tearing into it there. Shoot. Hang on, I'm coming. Okay. So get these off. I think there's just a couple more on the sides. Probably just a couple screws. Usually not much holding the front end on these cars. Yeah, it's got that. We'll get them over there. So here's over on the driver's side. You know, sometimes we scream about plastic a little bit, but some of these little retainers, I'd sure rather fiddle with these than screws at some point, you know, particularly around here. It gets so rusty. Alright, do the passenger side. Yep, same thing over here on the passenger side, just got these two pinch retainers. I've got all different kinds of tools that unhook these things, but for some reason I always go back to the old side cutters and screwdriver, because for whatever reason the tools just don't seem to work really well, at least the ones I have. I mean, it does if they're good and new, but once they get, you know, a little layer of dirt on them and start getting locked in there with all the crap behind them, this seems to be the best method that I've found. Alright. Back on the driver's side here. Just got, got this one screw. This little guy here takes a 7mm socket that should hold this corner of the bumper cover on. We'll do the one on the passenger side and we'll pop this thing off, I think. I think it's got fog lights too, we better look at that. Got the fog light connectors right up in that opening. This on the driver's side. It looks like that's it. Well, yeah, that's gotta be it. Let's give it a try. So I was trying to pull the passenger side loose here, and I think, oh man, there's these little retainers. Boy, I'm probably gonna have to pull these wheel liners out. Well, I can see them, I guess. I'll have to show you once I get it apart. Get a little pick. There's little. Compared to that Dodge, it's quite a bit more difficult, but let me get a little pick there. They're just these little pinch retainers we got pinched together. Slide that out. I thought it was going to be just kind of a pull it off type thing, and I set the camera up and give us a little pull, and it felt quite a bit more rigid than I thought it should. So like I say, once I get these off, I'll show you what we're dealing with here. So I got them out. So here's what you have. Well, you can see I don't want to pull on this too. I don't want this to come off, but you've got this little retainer here. There's two of them. You got to push in on these little ears. You just barely got to push them in, or these ones up here. I'm sorry, the ones on the top. You got to kind of, you know, push this one down, pull it out a little bit, and then there's another one on the bottom. Probably if you pulled the whole inner fender out, it might be a little bit easier for you. But you can, you know, just kind of pull it back, reach your hand in there, and just do what I did. Just, you know, push the top of them with a pick there, and get that loose. I'm gonna do the same thing on the driver's side. Oh, let's see. Gonna go on the other side for a little while. Talk to a customer. Have a sad deal. Yeah, a lot of my customers are lifetime customers. You know, they've been my customers forever. Even back when I worked for my dad, and then, you know, they follow you to your new shop and all that stuff. So I've known these people for a good majority of my life. And then to see one of the older ones get, you know, dementia or whatever, it's tough. You know, you've known these people your whole life, and all of a sudden they don't know who you are. Well, this one's broke, or it's already got one broke, but the inner one is still there. Looks like it's probably had some work done to it before. There she goes. But that outer one being broke is no big deal. It's got the, you know, it's got the screw that goes up through it. So, but yeah. All right. Well, I had to bring in the backup.
The dog.
The dog. Here, hold on. That's bumper cover. Yeah. Sheila. Come here. That's good to sit over there. All right, thank you. Well, now that I got that off, it's obvious to me at this point I didn't have to take those bolts out, so I'm just going to take a minute to kind of throw those back in and or just drop it. That's what I'll do. So that's what I'm going to do. You don't have to watch me do that. You see me take them out. Just want to let you know. Looks like we got to take this thing off. It's got a couple retainers on it. Oh, it came out pretty easy. I was going to say they look like they're going to break. They're little teeny tiny ones, but they felt pretty hard. One on each side here. The plastic piece that comes up, it's hitting the hood latch. We'll take and buzz that hood latch out of there, I guess. Now, these hood latches are fully adjustable. It's a big opening, you know, where the bolt goes through, but these are rusty enough it leaves a nice little ring where the bolt needs to go. If your car doesn't have that nice little rust ring, then you're gonna have to mark it. Now they put that bolt, there's a third bolt on there, and that's in a heck of a spot. I'm gonna have to use a wrench on that guy. If that plastic piece is off there, it'd been a whole lot easier. But I think you gotta take the headlights and stuff out to do that. Now, I feel like a caveman using a wrench. Let's see if that gives us enough room. There we go. Okay, and we got the air cleaner spout on here. I see. I might have to show you this once I get it off. It's kind of tricky to see up in here. I'll get it off and then I'll show you. It's much more complicated than the an old Dodge we just had in. Oil from his hood latch. So what you have here is this is the air inlet for the air box. I suppose you could just go up under the hood, probably unhook it under there, but it's got these this little lock tab here. You just kind of have to reach up under there with a pick and, you know, push these things in. It was just kind of difficult for me to you know, show you that with a camera and try to, you know, reach up under there with a pick and, you know, manipulate those around. But either way, probably unhook it under the hood or unhook it here, doesn't matter, I guess. Looks like we got to pull this bumper off. Some genius put 4 bolts in the outside with no access holes. So again, we got to get all caveman on this thing. We'll crack these loose with a wrench. think I can get my 1/4" air ratchet in there, hopefully. But they're pretty snug. I might not have enough power to take them out. Oh, looks like I got a wiring harness here. Got a temperature sensor under there. That should do it. There's a big crash bar off there now. Oh yeah, she's leaking alright. Thought I'd seen all the oil underneath it, so yeah, it looks like it was probably a good diagnosis. Got our lines unhooked here. Remember, never unhook those if you don't know if the AC is discharged or not. It'd be a real eye opener. Gaskets on these ones are looking pretty nasty. You're definitely gonna have to change those. Now, I guess we got no reason to not take this off. Well, that didn't work. Looks like it rubber mounted. And goes through plastic. Awesome. Double awesome. That little 12-volt impact is weak to begin with, but I tell you, you get a bolt that's mounted in a rubber surface or a surface that allows it to oscillate slightly. Impacts are pretty much worthless. Let me get some big horsepower. There we go. Oh, she's talking. Oh. I put Loctite on it. No wonder. And get the other side. Look what this crackpot genius did. I got that sucker mounted behind the headlights. You got that much room. There's no air tool in this baby. I better get some, yeah, I can't even see it. As I said, I'd like to, yeah, I have to get that little spray. Give her a little shot of the old get loose juice. I don't want to break this thing off. I think I hit the stud. I'd like to talk to some of these engineers sometime. Like they had it really good over there, then they come over here. He's probably home just chuckling right now. Plus it's Loctited to boot, and it goes through a plastic ear. Really awesome, GM. I can't get back in there to hold nothing. So we'll tighten it up, loosen it up. We'll do that method about 500 times and then hopefully nothing breaks. Alright, I'm going to make an executive decision. If I keep messing with this, it's going to bust. If you guys remember from the Dodge video we did, you had that little plastic ears that stick off the radiator. They've got a J nut on there. If you start tweaking them, it's going to bust the radiator, so we've got to take the headlight out, which shouldn't be a big deal. Shouldn't be. Because we've already got the bumper cover off. So we'll pull some bolts out of the top and get it off. Got to be able to get an impact on that because if I keep frigging around with it, it's going to bust. So I just want to stop that situation right now. So we got to take that bolt back out and we stuck back in. I knew I put them in there for a reason. And then we got these ones here. I think that's it. Could be way wrong, but that's what it looks like here on the outside. Yeah, maybe. Plastic thing. Oh, that's just lovely. There. Red clips. He's a retired engineer from Dodge, must be. Oh, sucker. Yeehaw! There we go. So you can see what we're dealing with here now. We got the headlight out of the way. So it's if you watch that video on the Dodge we did, same exact thing. You know, you've got this little plastic wing off the radiator here. And when you, let me find a wrench here, show you what it does. You know, if you're just back here wrenching on this thing, well, of course we've got it to the easy point now, but you can see how hard that's tweaking on that. Well, as I keep turning this, you know, this bolt turns harder and harder. If we keep pushing, that's just gonna bust the radiator and we're gonna end up buying a radiator. And I don't really want to do that. So I'm gonna see if I can hang on to this a little bit with a pair of vice grips and just nail it off there with an impact. Let's see what we got here. There's this green Dodge over at the post office right now. This chick that drives it usually, she usually heads out of here full throttle. So you wait and listen. Oh, let's see. I tell you that, she'll probably pull out of here like a pussycat now, but she usually like just hammers this thing. Get a hold of that. There we go. I'm gonna run it in first. Yeah, just popped right in. Boy, I'd like to get a hold of it, but I think it's just gonna keep popping off on me. Oh, here she goes. Here she goes. Listen to this. This is good. Ready? Cover your ears. Oh, that was pretty low key, man. Usually that sucker just right to the rug. All right, never mind. Here we go. Yeehaw! That's what we wanted. Good job, GM. Yep, add a little bit of corrosion, a little bit of Loctite. Put some plastic with it. Perfect. We're back in business now. Ta-da! So there's the leak, must be down there at the bottom. That's what it looks like. I don't see any physical damage on it, but it's got a lot of green ooze. We'll grab the new one. I don't know if it comes with the little rubber mount there or not, but better pull that out of there just in case. I'll pop the metal bushing out of the center of it first and pull the rubber out. I don't know what the idea of this little plastic grate here is. Maybe like stone protection or something like that. Could be a little bit extra. I don't know. Anyhow, back in business. I don't know where we left off. Had to go eat some lunch. Well, here's a new condenser, and it did not come with that little rubber there, so we're gonna stuff that back in. That lined up and stick the metal sleeve back in there. Line back up in. That looks pretty good. Get our bolts here. Get them started back in there and get it snugged up and start reversing the process. Should go pretty easy. Come apart pretty easy. Like I mentioned, these gaskets here we have changed. The one we just did the other day, well, that had O-rings on it. They were in really good shape, but these gaskets here are pretty gnarly looking, pretty rusty. So I'm going to take and see if I have a couple of these. They didn't come with a condenser, which kind of stinks. Seems like they would, but they don't, or they didn't, at least with this one. This one's a Denso. Same brand we just used the other day. Again, same thing, super rusty. So I'm going to go and see if I have some of these and get these plugged in, because I want to take and get a vacuum on it. I'd like to throw a charge on it before we put it all together, just to make sure everything's cool here so we don't have to tear it back apart, and then we'll finish putting it together. Okay, that was pretty fortunate. I only had 2 of them left. I have to remember to order a couple. Got a huge kit of AC O-rings and washers and things of that nature, and like I say, open it up, oh man, only had 2 of them left. I'm going to take and stick those on there. You want to be as clean as you can with AC, as far as not getting any dirt and debris, any dust, anything like that you can avoid contamination. So the orifice tubes are quite small, or the thermal expansion valves, whichever system you're dealing with, they're quite small, so you want to avoid getting anything stuck in it. Nuts there. This one's going to be tweaked a little bit. Yeah, I just had to rotate that line slightly. Get its line out. The whole machine in the block here must be just, just off. Just a little bit more than the factory one was. sure that these are snug. Okay, those are good and snug. We'll hook up our AC machine. We'll throw a vacuum on it. I demonstrated in the Chrysler video about the, how it boils off the water by putting a negative pressure in there. So if you want, check that video out. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link up here on the screen where you can go and see that if you want to see that little demonstration. Oh, where's the other port here? Way over here. Move some stuff out of the way. So we've got our low pressure side right here, right out in the open. I've got the high pressure fitting over there by the strut tower. And throw a vacuum on it for an hour or so. And we'll check back when that's all done. Gonna toss the headlight in. This has one of those little metal balls here on the end. It snaps into this retainer down here. So if you're ever taking your headlight out of your Torrent, that's how that happens. You're taking, you've got this bolt here. That was that long one that we had to reach down through, and a couple on the top, and then you pull it out. That's all there was to that. Get this hook back up and get a couple things put together while we're waiting. I suspect if we're going to have any leaks, it'll be at, obviously where we joined it together is pretty much the only problem area. I don't suspect that the new core will leak, but you never know. I say, on your hood latch, you'll see, well, hopefully you'll see the marks where it was before. If not, like I said, I think I mentioned when we took it apart that you should, you know, you should definitely mark it where it belongs. But these are so rusty, I mean, you can see where they go. So I'm just going to tighten up these 3 hood latch bolts. Oops. This thing back in order. I just pop that plastic clip out. Oh, here we go. This air dam doesn't fit the new condenser as good as it did the OEM one, but I guess that's the problem with aftermarket stuff, is it's not always 100%. Tighten the next one up and wait for the vacuum to get done. Okay, so we're gonna pick up where we left off. I left the machine here for a while pulling a vacuum. That went well. It ran through a little automated leak test to make sure it holds vacuum, and that passed. So now I did look up the spec on the condenser, because often when you're changing a component, you know, condenser, receiver dryer, you know, anything of that nature, I've mentioned before in other videos that they require a certain amount of oil. This one calls for 1 ounce, so I'm going to take and inject an ounce of oil in it, and then we're going to pressurize it through the high side of the system and make sure it works, check it for leaks, and just throw this bumper cover back on and ship it down the road. Alright, so we're at 7 ounces. We're going to drop her down to the 6 ounce mark here on our oil. There we go. Now we'll just see how much refrigerant this thing takes and fill it up. According to the tag under the hood, it takes 1.3 pounds. So that's 1 pound 4 ounces. Doesn't hold very much. This says front AC only. We've already injected the oil, so we're going to go ahead and let this thing charge. While that's charging, we're going to take our little gas sniffer here. We're going to sniff around these joints and see if we have any leaks there. Well, I'd say we're good to go. It's not tripping off the alarm by the leaks. So I think we've got a good seal there with our gaskets. As soon as this thing's finished charging, we'll start it up. Make sure the AC works. I don't know if we're going to clear any codes in. I see the AC light was flashing when I brought this thing in. So we'll take it from there. Alright, let's see here. Before, like I say, when I turn the AC on, oh, I just heard the pump kick on, so kick it on recirc here. We'll see what we got for temperature. Let this run for a few minutes. You can see the temperature's falling already. Just about down to the freezing mark, so that's good. Pump just kicked back on. Nice. So the other thing we can do to make sure it's working is we can use just a regular temperature gun. We'll check our inlet temperature, which is a max of 120, so it's coming about 120 degrees, and then we'll check our outlet. And we can see that maxed out at 87. So that's how we know it's working, you know, coming in hot, going out cold. Yeah, coming in there, again, you know, 128. Out around, you know, 87, something like that. There you have it, viewers. It's all done. We got this baby all wrapped up. Got the inside colder than penguin snot. So you should be pretty happy. At least I think you would be. And showed you just how we can check the condenser there real quick with the thermal gun. You know, check the inlet temperature and check the outlet temperature. And if the process of you know, changing it from a gas back to a liquid has occurred and you know, got cooled down to the right temperature, you should see a pretty substantial difference between the inlet and the outlet temperature. You know, assuming the fans and everything are working. So it's what we expect to see. We didn't have any leaks, so we can't really ask for anything else. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. You can just click the subscribe button. Click that little wrench down there on the corner of the screen, and that'll take you right to that page. So thanks again for watching. You can check us out on Facebook if you haven't. You can find us on Google Plus too if you want to connect with us socially there. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.